Yeah, well, I think everybody kind of has dealt with this in their own way, right? And there are people that the minute that it starts are going to spring to action and be working on their next move and composing new music and getting ready for their next album and putting out content. And there's other people that, just have kind of been shell shocked by this and needed time to really kind of grieve and process, the kind of the new life that we've all been living here, the majority of the world, for the last month, really. And I'm no different. I definitely took some time to kind of get myself adjusted to this new reality. And then, I set about trying to just keep myself busy just to stay sane. We're actually chatting. You can see I've got the piano behind me here. My bedroom has kind of turned into my home recording studio, which I think a lot of musicians are doing now. And, I've picked up some extra skills with GarageBand and Logic about mixing music and audio editing and video editing. The new thing is nobody can play gigs together, so we're all recording remotely. Just like everybody is embracing Jacob Collier picture-in-picture
Right.
videos.
Just getting 64 musicians in one frame.
Yeah, I know. Chad LB, virtual big band, all of these kind of, it's forced everyone to become creative. So, I'm editing videos, I'm mixing tracks in GarageBand, and, I'm recording into this really nice microphone, and these are all things that I hadn't really delved into before the quarantine. So, you try and learn some new skills, new tricks of the trade, and stay busy.
Awesome. Yeah, you've also been doing, I mean, we actually met in person a while ago at Jazz Congress, not in January, not
Right.
too, pretty recently. And that was our
Seems
first
long
time
ago,
meeting.
but yeah.
Well, we've
Yeah.
definitely got to know each other a lot more during this time. And we recently, on JazzMemes, we recently did a live stream with you and Emmett Cohen. And how I've seen that you've been doing a lot of live streams. How have live streams been serving you during this time? Because like you said, we can't perform live, and most musicians are kind of going over to the live stream. What are your thoughts on live streaming, and how is that helping you during this time?
Yeah, well, I think we've talked about it a lot. I know, because you guys helped, put my show out there a few weeks ago back with Emmett, and you see a lot of discussion in the music community. I think there's both sides that I understand. There's people that say, hey, there's no clubs, there's no gigs, there's no touring. This is how we can reach our audience, and we're going to accept tips. We're going to put up our Venmo. We're going to put up our Cash App, our PayPal. Let's see if we can make some moves. And to me, that makes a lot of sense. But there are other jazz musicians. I remember seeing a post by the great Jason Palmer, wonderful trumpet player, educator at Berkeley in Boston. His point was basically, well, wait. Why are we just giving away, all of our talent, all these things that people used to pay $40 for, cover charge and buy 2 drinks. Now, all of a sudden, they're getting it for free. When this goes back to normal, it's like, have we let the cat out of the bag, so to speak? Is everybody now just going to assume that they have this unfettered access that they didn't have before? And so, I've tried to be a little bit judicious about it. I don't just hit the record button and just chronicle my life, the entire time. But I have, done a few of these live stream shows. And the first one that I did was actually, with JazzMemes Presents. And it's just a great way to stay connected to your audience and to your fans, and if you make a little bit of money on the side, you throw out the Venmo and, you're able to help out with the groceries. Certainly we all appreciate that, right? Because for many of us jazz musicians, our livelihood is playing gigs, and that's how we, support ourselves. So in this world, without those gigs, you need to start to get creative. And, I think it's been a really great way for musicians to keep their blade sharp and also connect with their audience, because everybody's sitting at home, whether you're a musician or whether you're an audience member. Everybody's starved for the music.
100%. And what and to like what you said, I mean, when we did the live stream with you, I think people are sitting at home, and if you serve them now, don't think that they will forget that.
Right.
If you were there for them when they're needing that music right now, and regardless of everyone's in different financial situations. Yes, most musicians are out of work, but there's even degrees in there where, you know what, if you got a live stream, or if you don't even have the time, or the opposite, if you don't have time to live stream because you have to go to do another job or service to make ends meet, that's okay. Like, to what you're saying, it's going to be different for everyone. But I don't think after this, and whatever that looks like, I think you're right. I don't think suddenly it's like no one's going to be willing to pay for music. And by no means is this matching the live experience. This is
Sure.
just the best we can do right now.
You know, and in some ways, you know, you could argue that it's even helping artists broaden their audience and bring new people in that might buy an album online or might, you know, follow a Instagram page or something like that. So, you know, there's definitely positives that can come out of it. And you know, for me, it's just an excuse to throw on a suit and you know, feel like I'm going to work a little bit, you know.
Yeah, isn't it funny? It's almost leveled the playing field in some senses, like, because before, genre-wise, you know, you can compete with other genres where they have so much more money to put into their live shows than us. And now it doesn't matter whether you're the top pop star or or any level financially of what you can do with the live show. We're all just on a screen and in our bedroom. So, and the playing field has been leveled in some sense on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so funny to see which people clearly, you know, paid attention in their audio visual workshop and which people didn't, because you have, you know, super notable people, you know, famous musicians that live stream and it's just like the other end of a phone and it's a grainy video and you can't hear anything. And, you know, then somebody that actually understands what kind of microphone to get and if they have an audio interface with their computer, and, you know, so that's another learning curve too, is just trying to understand, you know, the best way to present your live stream and to reach people. And it's like you said, everybody's on a level playing field. I'm sure there's an entire swath of musicians that never thought they would have to worry about, you know, the sound tech stuff on their computer. And, you know, here we are, the apocalypse is here and everybody better know, you know, how to get your microphone plugged into your computer.
Right. What I would say is that that's one of the things I noticed about when you did the live stream with us, and same with Emmett. You know, you really brought a level of treating the live streams the best you could as a live experience. You know, dressing up, making sure that the audio quality is good, doing tests beforehand, engaging with the audience. I mean, really, the things that doesn't matter whether we're online or in person, but really matter now. So I would say, like, that is definitely for the musicians that are watching this, some simple things they can do is just really try and treat the live stream as best you can, and do the extra details to take it to the next level.
Yeah, anytime you're presenting yourself in front of an audience, you know, whether it's through a screen or it's in person, you know, that's an opportunity for you to kind of display, you know, I hate to use the term, you know, display your brand, which is, you know, obnoxious, admittedly. But, you know, the point being, you know, you get to show people what you're all about. And, you know, if when I am presenting a concert, people have come to, you know, appreciate that I have a certain aesthetic, you know, I don't want to mix that. I don't want to come out and do a concert in a robe if they're used to seeing me, you know, with a pocket square. But, you know, podcast interviews in a robe, that's
Oh,
totally
I mean, I requested that you be in a robe for my comfortable sake. That's what it's just so silky. I saw it on one of your other live streams and I was like, please, robe is the way to go.
Yeah, this is the work outfit for now.
Yeah. Well, on top of live streaming, on top of filling out grants, you know, this is a great time for many musicians to get into, you know, just honing their skills and working on things they haven't in a while. And we had asked our audience before this some questions for you, and one of them included practice routine. And I'm sure this is something you've probably been asked before, but it's more interesting now because, you know, you were touring like crazy. You were one of the hardest working musicians I knew, as far as just touring and shows night after night in New York. Now, how has your practice routine shifted, and what are you working on during this time?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably one of the silver linings about this whole thing is that, you know, I've talked to a lot of these musicians that, you know, the advice that I got when I was in college and in high school, where older musicians said, you should be practicing now because you're going to get to a point where you're going to wish you had that time. And I'm telling you, you're going to be really working. You're not going to be able to shed like you used to. And, you know, it's totally true, because when you're a professional, when you're touring, when you're running around from gig to gig, you just don't have, night after night or afternoon after afternoon of free time to just hone your craft. And so this quarantine has been great as far as practicing, because it's the first time probably since I've been in college where I've just been able to night after night to just hit my routine and, you know, really build and grow. And, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of musicians coming out of the quarantine that, you know, that are going to be better than ever and stronger than they were when they headed in, because, you know, we practice to keep our sanity too, and we finally have time. So I've always been big into routine, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm someone that has, you know, a very systematic checklist of exercises and things that I hit, whether it's from the technical side or it's, you know, transcribing and learning new tunes, you know, kind of the jazz side of things. And it's been great because usually I have to look at that list and decide, all right, which things am I going to cut out today because I only have an hour. And in this case, I've been able to just, you know, really just unpack all of this great material, dust off some old classical books that I haven't touched since college. And, you know, for all the brass players out there and trumpet players, we know it's such a beast physically of an instrument. And so I'm really spending a lot of time just, you know, hitting the shed on all of the kind of technique and all of the kind of classical, you know, things that when I'm running around going from gig to gig and not getting a lot of sleep, those things kind of fall by the wayside. And, you know, it's just like practicing your kind of your technical routine is just like taking your vitamins, you know. It's like having a big glass of orange juice to start your day. It's, you know, like eating a piece of fruit. It's like it just gets your whole body, your whole mind, everything is really synced up. You're really feeling good. And at this point I'm ready to have a gig because, you know, everything in here trumpet wise feels great. You know, I haven't felt like this in years. And of course the ironic thing is there's no gigs to be had right now. So I'm getting ready for when the gigs are back open, man. I'm going to come out, you know, ready to
Yeah.
fire.
Well, so let's get into that because I think